The Rise and Fall of Chinese Buddhism. A Complete History, 2,000 plus years of evolution. Chinese Buddhism, also known as Han Buddhism, is a branch of Mahayana Buddhism that developed based on Chinese Buddhist scriptures and profound influences from traditional Chinese culture. Chinese Buddhism is currently the largest religion in mainland China. It is estimated that there are between 185 to 250 million Buddhists living in the People's Republic of China. Not only popular in China, Chinese Buddhism is also a major religion in Taiwan, Singapore, and Malaysia, while maintaining a strong presence in overseas Chinese communities. So how did Buddhism arrive in China? How did it develop? Let's explore together in this video. If you find this content interesting and valuable, please consider liking and subscribing to our channel for more historical and cultural insights. Originating from India, Buddhism took its first steps into China during the Han Dynasty, 206 BCE, 220 CE, through the efforts of missionaries, and officially established its presence in the country at the beginning of the Common Era. The two main routes used by Buddhist missionaries to reach China were the Central Asian Silk Road overland and maritime routes. However, during its initial introduction period, Buddhism remained a novel religion, not widely understood by the people, and was even confused and mixed with Taoism. The similarities between the two religions in the eyes of the Chinese people, along with prejudices from Confucianites against a foreign religion, created numerous challenges for Buddhism. To bring Buddhism closer to the Chinese people, one of the primary tasks of missionaries was translating Buddhist scriptures. The earliest surviving translations are by Shigao, a Parthian translator who worked in the capital Luoyang during the 2nd century. Following Shigao's efforts were the massive Mahayana translations by Lokaksema, who worked around 164 to 186 CE, a Kushan monk, along with the works of Dharmaraksa in the 3rd century. During the early development stage, the Dharmaguptaka school played a pivotal role in shaping Chinese Buddhism. The school's influence was so significant that the Dharmaguptaka Vinaya monastic rules became widely adopted across all Chinese Buddhist schools. The appearance of the talented Kucha translator Kumarajiva, 334 to 413, marked an important milestone in Chinese Buddhist history. Unlike his predecessors, Kumarajiva received government support and was appointed as the national preceptor. The superior quality of translations produced by Kumarajiva's group had an enormous influence on Chinese Buddhism. Additionally, he is known for introducing the Madhyamaka school of Buddhist philosophy to China, which later became known as the Three Treatise School. Kumarajiva's works laid a solid foundation for Chinese Buddhist philosophy, which had previously been heavily influenced by Taoist philosophy. By the 460s, Buddhism officially became a recognized religion in China, with Buddhist imagery and art becoming widely popular. The cave complexes at Dunhuang and Yungang stand as powerful testimonies to the brilliant development of Chinese Buddhist art during this early period. Alongside the pioneering translators, one cannot overlook Paramartha, 499 to 569 CE, who, together with his Chinese disciples, translated numerous works on Maitreya Bodhisattva, Yogacara philosophy, and other Mahayana scriptures. The efforts of 6th century translators such as Badarusi and Ratnamati contributed to the formation of the Chinese Yogacara school, also known as the consciousness-only school. The 6th and 7th centuries witnessed the flourishing of new distinctively Chinese Buddhist schools. Notable among these was the Tiantai school, founded by Master Zhai, 538 to 597. This school, based on the Lotus Sutra and the works of Zhi, emphasized comprehensive practice, combining meditation and scripture study with the goal of enlightenment in the present life. The Huayan school, based on the Avahamsaka Sutra, was developed by Chinese masters such as Dushan, 557 to 640, Zhayan, 602 to 668, and Fazang, 643 to 712. Huayan emphasized the interdependence and mutual containment of all phenomena, asserting that all phenomena are interconnected and reflect each other. The Pure Land tradition focused on devotion to Amitabha Buddha and reciting his name to achieve rebirth in the Western Pure Land. This tradition was widely propagated by patriarchs such as Tanluan, 476 to 542, Daoqiu, 562 to 645, and Shandao, 613 to 681. Chan Buddhism, based on the teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha and propagated by Bodhidharma, emphasized direct realization of one's true nature through meditation. Famous Chan patriarchs of this period included Bodhidharma, second patriarch Huaik, 487 to 593, third patriarch Senkin, d. 606, fourth patriarch Joxin, 580 to 651, and fifth patriarch Hongren, 601 to 674. During the Tang Dynasty, 618 to 907, Chinese Buddhism entered its golden age. A significant event marking this extraordinary development was the pilgrimage to India by monk Xuanzang. After returning, he compiled detailed records of his discoveries, making important contributions to the study of contemporary India. Moreover, Xuanzang brought back numerous Buddhist scriptures and led a translation team that produced many valuable Chinese translations of Buddhist texts. Xuanzang's tireless efforts laid the foundation for the formation and development of the Yogacara school, which emphasized the role of consciousness in spiritual practice. Throughout the Tang period, Sinicized Buddhism was widely accepted and practiced across the country, with countless monasteries and temples being built. Buddhism permeated all social classes, from royalty to common people, creating profound influences on Chinese culture. In fact, Buddhism became even more popular and attracted more followers than Taoism. Literature of this period was saturated with Buddhist themes, exemplified in works by famous poets such as Wang Wei, 701 to 761, and Bai Jui, 772 to 846. Additionally, massive Buddhist architectural and artistic projects like the Longmen Grottas stood as powerful testimonies to Chinese Buddhism's prosperity at the time. One of the Tang emperors who greatly patronized Buddhism was Wu Zetian. She not only supported the construction of the Longmen Grottas complex, but also proclaimed herself an incarnation of a bodhisattva. The period from 716 to 720 during Emperor Xuanzang's reign marked another important milestone in Chinese Buddhist history with the appearance of three Tibetan masters, Sopakrasimha, Vajravati, and Amaghavajra. This event gave birth to Chinese esoteric Buddhism. This form of practice quickly spread among the nobility and reached its peak of influence during the reign of Emperor Daizong, 762 to 779. However, Chinese Buddhism also went through periods of ups and downs. The persecution of Buddhism under Emperor Wuzong, 841 to 845, dealt a heavy blow to Buddhist institutions across the country. The main reason was attributed to the court's need for tax revenue and wealth. Following this was the turbulent 5 Dynasties and 10 Kingdoms period, with continuous warfare that further weakened Chinese Buddhism. Many Buddhist schools and traditions were reduced in scale or gradually faded away. During the Song Dynasty, 960–1279, Chinese Buddhism once again flourished. Chan Buddhism became the most influential school, receiving strong support from the court. The temple system and administrative organization of Chan Buddhism were also consolidated and developed strongly. During this period, the Wujia, 5 houses of Chan Buddhism, the 5 orthodox Chan lineages of China, were formed and developed. Many classic Chan texts were produced, notably the Blue Cliff Record, 1125, and the Wumenguan, 1228, 2 famous koan collections of the Linji school. At the same time, the silent illumination meditation method of Hanji Zhengju was also formed and developed strongly. Both of these Chan traditions had profound influences on East Asian Zen, including Japanese Zen, Korean Seon, and Vietnamese Thien. During the Yuan Dynasty, 1271 to 1368, Tibetan Buddhism received strong patronage from the court, creating conditions for this tradition to develop strongly in China. This event also contributed to the popularization of Tibetan tantric practices. However, after the Yuan dynasty fell and the Ming dynasty took over, Tibetan lamas were expelled from the court, and Tibetan Buddhism was viewed as heterodox and unrecognized. During the Ming dynasty, 1368 to 1644, indigenous schools such as Tantai, Huayan, and Yogacara were once again emphasized in research and revival. Additionally, the 2 Chan lineages of Linji and Caodong maintained their dominant position in Chinese Chan Buddhism. This period witnessed diverse integration and combination among Chinese Buddhist schools. A notable example is Hanshin Daking, 1546 to 1623, one of the most influential masters who advocated the joint practice of Chan and Pure Land, combining Buddha recitation with meditation. He also guided disciples in using mantras and scripture recitation, while being a respected lecturer and scholar known for his virtue, integrity, and diligent practice. Under the Tang Dynasty, 1644 to 1911, Tibetan Buddhism, especially the Gelug school, received special support from the court. However, Chinese Buddhism had to go through a turbulent period. Internal conflicts and power struggles within the court dynasty, culminating in the Taiping Rebellion, caused severe damage to Buddhism, with many temples destroyed and scriptures burned by the rebels. Additionally, the arrival of Christian missionaries, a consequence of the unequal treaties following the Opium Wars, also put additional pressure on Chinese Buddhism. During the Republican period, 1912 to 1949, many reform and modernization movements emerged in Chinese Buddhism to adapt to the new social context and face the challenges of modern times. Notable among these was the Humanistic Buddhism movement led by monks like Taixu and Yinshen. Humanistic Buddhism aimed to move away from purely ritualistic practices and supernatural worldviews, focusing instead on more practical activities like education and social charity. During this time, Chinese Chan Buddhism also witnessed a strong revival with masters like Xuanzang and Kumarajiva. Additionally, Tiantai Buddhism was restored and developed by Dixian and Taixu, 1875 to 1963. After the establishment of the People's Republic of China, many Buddhists, including monks and nuns, migrated to Taiwan along with the Kuomintang government. In Taiwan during the latter half of the 20th century, they established many new temples and Buddhist organizations, including notable ones like Fo Guangshan, Dharma Drum Mountain, and Tzu Chai. After mainland China ended the Cultural Revolution, these Taiwanese Buddhist organizations had some influence on the restoration of Buddhism there. However, during the Cultural Revolution 1966 to 1976, Chinese Buddhism endured a period of widespread suppression and destruction. Buddhism was considered one of the four olds that needed to be eliminated. The Chinese government viewed it as a superstitious tool of the ruling class and a reactionary force. Monks were attacked, stripped of their robes, imprisoned, and sent to labor camps. Buddhist scriptures were burned, temples, monasteries, and Buddhist artworks were systematically destroyed. Lay Buddhists were forced to abandon all public religious activities. The normalization period from 1977 to the early 1980s under Deng Xiaoping opened a new chapter for the revival of Chinese Buddhism. Many temples damaged during the Cultural Revolution, such as Gokeng Temple and Guangyue Temple, were restored. Traditional ceremonies like ordination rituals were revived, and Buddhist organizations were allowed to operate again. Well-trained senior monks in Chan and Huayan traditions traveled throughout China and many other countries, including the United States, to teach Buddhism. However, monks still need to obtain government certificates to reside in monasteries. Today, the Buddhist Association of China is the only official organization authorized by the Chinese government to oversee and manage Buddhist activities in the country. This association operates under the direction of the United Front Work Department of the Chinese Communist Party. Thank you for watching our comprehensive exploration of Chinese Buddhism's history and development. If you found this content valuable, please support us by liking, subscribing, and sharing this video with others interested in Buddhist history and culture. Your engagement helps us continue creating high-quality educational content.